So I watched
Tenet.
in the theater, and when it ended, I had no idea what I just watched.
I understand nothing.
Then I saw it again, and it wasn't confusing at all.
I understand
Everything. This movie is so dope. Christopher Nolan and I have a lot in common. One of the things we have in common is our love of time. Chris Nolan loves time. Loves it. He can't get enough of it. I do too. I love time travel, time machines, time lapses, Father Time, clocks, click clocks, tick ticks, tic tacs, cool mint, winter green, minty fresh. Time is crazy. Time is constantly moving and it cannot be paused, at least in real life. In a video, you can pause at any time. I love movies about time. Guess what my favorite movie of all time is? It's Tenet. JK! It's Back to the Future. Back to the Future. I thought there was time in that title somewhere. Back to the Future is about time travel. It's amazing, but I'm getting off track. Tenet is about time, the inversion of time, which then leads to the traveling through time. Some people didn't like the movie, or didn't understand it. I get that. But really, this movie is a spy espionage movie like James Bond or Mission Impossible, but with a twist. The twist being the inversion of time, but then there's also another twist in the end. Wait, there's a twist? Yes, I believe so. Some people are complaining about the sound mixing because they can't understand what anyone is saying because the background noise would be so loud.
We need to get in there, go inverted, and once we're inverted, we can get the algorithm, and we need to split the algorithm so he can't get the algorithm. But if he gets the algorithm, the world will explode. We need to get the algorithm, and then we can save everything after getting the algorithm.
But I was paying attention to every word. So I'm going to talk about what happened in the movie. So there are going to be some major
spoilers
starting now. First, that opening scene is exhilarating. The energy level is at a 10 out of 10. The music is so good. It's worth the hearing loss. When John David Washington is running super fast and then he slides under that thing, I was like, I need to do that. I want to do that. The best thing about this movie is the visuals. I have no idea how they filmed this movie, and I can't wait to see the behind the scenes making of the movie to see how they filmed it. Some parts of the frame were moving forward, and then some parts were moving in reverse at the same time. Whoa. The first time we really see this is when John David Washington is fighting the inverted version of himself. He's moving forward, and the inverted version of him is moving inverted. So he'd be like this, and then the inverted version of him would be like. Then later we see the same scene, but we're now watching the inverted version of him going forward, and the normal version of him is moving in reverse. And it's the same fight, but from a different point of view, and it blew my mind.
Oh, I don't get it. When he's not wearing a mask, that's how you know he's going forward. When he is wearing a mask, that's when he's inverted, because his inverted lungs can't breathe in regular air. Wait, but you don't have a mask on? What are you talking about?
So John David Washington plays the protagonist. Okay, so what's the protagonist's name gonna be? the protagonist. John David Washington has some great lines too that are actually pretty funny. Like that hot sauce line, I feel like Nolan just told John to say something cool there and he just like made that up because it doesn't seem like a line that Nolan would write. Then Robert Pattinson comes in and we're like, who is this guy? And then John is like, who is this guy? And then Robert Pattinson is like, I'm Neil. Elizabeth Debicki gives legit one of the best performances I've seen all year. And I'm not going to mention her height because everybody is, because she's tall as Michael Caine is in the movie. Christopher Nolan didn't have a character for him to play, but he's in all of his movies, so he just wrote one scene for him to do. Michael Caine came in and did it, and then Christopher Nolan paid him $75 million for it. Kenneth Branagh gives the greatest performance I've ever seen in my life. He's a straight up James Bond villain in this, and it's amazing. He really goes for it. He's just insane. Also, the guy from Yesterday crashes that plane, and they actually crashed a real plane. It's insane. Like, that's sick. That's sick. That is legit sick. We learn about inversion when this scientist explains it to John. Wait, is that Fleur Delacour from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire? Her and Cedric are in this movie? Dope! Once the characters go inverted, they are literally going forward and then they go inverted and then they're going backwards towards the beginning of the movie. And it's like... Aaron Taylor Johnson comes in and he knows everything about Tenet. He was not confused at all when he saw this movie. He brings in this huge group of military people to go in and stop the bomb. Kenneth Branagh wants to destroy the world when he dies. So he has this thing, the algorithm, that will destroy the world. It has multiple parts to it, and it's from the future because he's been communicating with people from the future. The third act literally blew my mind. Literally. There are two teams, one red, one blue. The red team is moving forward, and the blue team is moving in reverse. They both get to the spot right as the other team is leaving. This team's showing up, and this team is leaving. But since they're in reverse, it's like this. They're going forward, they're going backwards, and they get there at the same time. All right, that makes sense. That makes sense. I like what they do with the colors too. Like red is when you're moving forward and blue is when you're inverted. So if it's red, they're going forward, blue, they're inverted. No mask, they're forward, mask, they're inverted. It's not confusing at all. There's buildings getting like fixed in reverse after getting blown up and then just getting blown up again right after in like forward time. John David Washington and Aaron Taylor Johnson go down to get the algorithm. They are on the red team. Neil is inverted on the blue team, but halfway through he goes through one of the inversion portals and he switches back to help them unlock the gate that they're stuck at. At this point there are two Neils, one normal and one inverted. The inverted one gets shot and dies while saving John and Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, who I don't know the name of. Then the normal Neil saves them again and they all get out. Everything seems all good, but Neil realizes that the guy who got the lock had to be him because only he could have picked the lock. So he goes back through the portal off camera and his inverted self gets shot like we saw earlier. This is after we find out that he was actually the inverted person who saved John at the opera house in the opening sequence. And by John, I mean the protagonist. I'm just calling him that because he doesn't have a name. Robert Pattinson gives a great performance when he tells John that this is the end of a great friendship for him, but just the beginning of one for John. We find out John was actually the person who recruited Neil sometime in the past, but in John's future. Does this make sense? Because I think it does. So that's how Neil knew everything about him already from the beginning, and how he knows a lot more about Tenet than the protagonist does throughout the movie. The timeline is a palindrome in itself. Like, it starts here, goes forward, and then they go inverted, and then it goes backwards, and it kind of ends like where it started. I'm so happy that Nolan is making movies like this, where he doesn't treat the general movie audience as dumb. So many movies like this will just try to spell it out for the audience so that they can understand. Nolan kind of thinks of us as more intelligent than we probably are, and he really makes you figure it out on your own. You can figure it out if you pay attention. And this isn't Nolan just trying to make everybody see the movie twice to try to make some extra dough. He's already rich. If you see the movie twice, that means that you care about the movie that much that you want to see it again, to understand it more. You liked the movie, you want to see it again. I see so many movies where I never want to see it again after. Even if I liked it, it's like, alright, I'm good with never watching that ever again. I like seeing movies that I want to watch over and over and over again for years to come. And that's what Tenet is to me.